Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So, as the title says, we are doing March in review, and I really don't know where to start with this month. I started the month being in Thailand. It was amazing. I love it out there. We have the best hotel ever that we go back to, and it's right next to the art centre where I got loads and loads of art supplies, and yeah, absolutely loved it. And now obviously there was this coronavirus, kind of like the start of it, but like Thailand had that thing down on lock. Like, they were so good. They had heat scanners, they had hand sanitizer everywhere you went, they had people in the lifts pressing the buttons for you, they had people cleaning hand railings all day. Like, that was their sole job. And then we come back to England and there is nothing. I'm sorry, but there was nothing. There wasn't even anything at the airport to check anything. Like, there was literally nothing. That's just gone mad. And I was just like, I was away for 1 week and I've come back and I can't buy toilet roll. I didn't quite understand what was going on. But I was catching up, doing some artwork, getting on with things. And then literally 2 weeks later, we're now down in lockdown. But I have been doing quite a few things. I've been doing some art challenges where I've been doing a portrait every day, which has been going really well, which I'm pretty sure I would have talked about in a video just before this. And yeah, I've now got loads of time to do loads of artwork, but yeah, honestly, March. Don't know what to say. Okay, so after that little rant that I had about coronavirus and the fact that everything's gone a bit loopy, I started this at the beginning of March. When did I think it was, honestly, I should have had it in front of me. It has the date in it, but it was shortly after I got back from Thailand. And as you saw, this is me working from my smaller sketchbook, which I finished just before I went on holiday. And there is a sketchbook tour if you're interested. But in there, I had done 2 small full figure drawings, and I hadn't wanted to put any paint onto them because I was terrified of messing it up. Plus, that sketchbook wasn't the best for putting paint on. So I wanted to actually redo it but do it in my larger sketchbook and put some gouache with it. So this whole footage that you're seeing is actually about a week and a bit before the whole lockdown started happening. So I was pretty much just getting back into the routine after my holiday, getting back to work and realising that my manager was leaving, so I was having to step up, which I was fine with. It didn't bother me, but I was really upset that she was leaving. I'd literally just started a month previous, and then I come back and you can't buy toilet roll and my manager's leaving. Like, it was a very weird time when I came back. So I was trying to get back into things, working on this, and because like there was so much going on, I just needed something that was like, you know what, I've already drawn this image out, I'm just going to practice actually putting some paint down and working this small and just seeing if I can redraw it this small. So it was something just to do that was easier and just didn't require that much concentration. So I was actually pretty pleased with how this turned out. I split this actually over 2 days. The first day is me where you can see I'm actually doing the pencil sketch and I get the first layer of wash down. Then I come back to it on a different day. And in all honesty, I wasn't really feeling like coming back to it. My new job, it's been great because I have so much time to actually do things, and that definitely continued this month until obviously now we're closed. But it was really good on way I was doing my days, but I was feeling like a bit, not demotivated or anything. I think it was just, I was missing Thailand. We love it there, and literally we'd been back a week before we were already planning our next trip back to Thailand. Like, I just love everything about that place. The culture is better, the weather is better, people are nicer, the food is better, like, just, it's better. Like, so I was really just feeling a bit down in the dumps. And so doing this, honestly, this was just me being really lazy and thinking, okay, well, I need to film something. I knew I'd already had my sketchbook tour coming out, so that was one of the videos, and I already knew that I wanted to do a art book tour of the different art books that I own, which was going to be the week after. So I was like, I didn't
actually have a lot I needed to do, but I did know I was going to be doing this video, which is March in Review, because I really enjoyed doing that for February and it's something I'd like to carry on. So I thought, you know what, I need to at least start filming something for that, and I can show that I was away for the first week, but I need to actually show what I've been doing in the second week, and that was when this was, roughly. But yeah, in all honesty, it was only because of that I could be bothered to do it. I'd actually been working in my smaller sketchbook that I picked up from Thailand, and that I was really happy doing every morning, but I was just finding that after work coming home, I just couldn't be bothered to do any artwork. So this was after work and a way for me to be like, nope, come on, we've got to get some work done. We don't want to be going back into that place where we're just not feeling bothered. More honestly to do with the fact that in March I've actually been reading a lot more. So while I was on holiday, it was really nice just to be able to have loads of time to chill out and read, and I would literally start my day off by the swimming pool reading. It was blissful, it was so good. And then coming back here, I just had so much less time to read that when I got home from work, that's all I really wanted to do, especially because I've been reading Brandon Sanderson and I've been reading his Stormlight Archive, and it's just such a good book. For those of you that haven't read his works, I would definitely suggest it. Maybe don't start off with Stormlight Archive, because I mean, I'm now on book 3, but it's actually split into 6 books. That's how chunky they are, that you actually have a part 1 and a part 2 for each book. But honestly, his work's really worth it. So I've been reading a lot of him all throughout March, and yeah, I was just like, I just want to read and I just want to be back in Thailand. So I was just being very like miserable, which Damien found hilarious, because he was like, you know what, we don't live out there. You're just going to have to deal with this, and just like, come on, like, you've got a really easy job. You're able to break up your day, just get on with some artwork. So I was like, you know what, yeah, you're right. I'm being a bit childish here. So yeah, so we finally got this done. And then I came in and I did the second layer a couple of days later, which I was pleased that I actually did take a break from, just because I find once you've got your first layer of gouache, it dries into a slightly lighter colour. It's a bit like watercolour in that respect. So then when I then go back into it on the second day, which is now, it's a bit easier to see and adding in those extra bits of shadows and highlights and just breathing a bit more life into it. And then I realised I'd done the piece absolutely tiny and my sketchbook is massive, so I decided to fill up the space with my handy little circle stencil and just go mad with some colours. Actually really worked for this piece, I think, just because of the amount of colours that are actually in it, and I was really pleased with how this turned out and the fact that I can actually paint that small. Thank God for tiny paintbrushes. And then I just go in with a tiny little fine liner and some gel pen, just putting in those last little bits of detailing. So this was quite good, and I think I finished this on the 15th of March. So at this point, coronavirus is still, it was there, everyone knew about it, but it wasn't in the strictest measures it is now. Instead, it's got to this one, which is literally a couple of days ago work that I've done, and yeah, it's gone mad. Yeah, see, in the corner there, I did finish that on the 15th. I had my date right. I'm quite impressed that I remembered that. But literally in the space of 8 days, it went from being, okay, people, make sure you wash your hands, you know, just be smart about these things, to, okay, you're not allowed outside your house apart from necessities and your daily exercise, and you can only go out once for exercise. And that's pretty much it. Like, that's how severe it got. And honestly, all it did was basically me end up going to Damien, we should have been stayed in Thailand. That is what we should have done, because they have it under so much more control. So to put this actually into perspective, while we were in Thailand, there were 40 cases. And in England, we had left England and there was only 20. By the end of the week, there was still only 40 cases in Thailand, and England had jumped to 300 in the same amount of time. And literally, I believe we're into like the thousands now in England, and Thailand is still on 700. Like, they just have so much more control over it, and I just feel like we've got a lot to learn from them. But yeah, so basically, me and Damien are of the opinion, we're just going to move to Thailand. Like, when we can, that's what we're going to do, because it's just, I love it out there. I genuinely love it. Damien's a bit like, excuse me, we were just going to be like living together in England and now you want me to move country as well? Pretty much. Sorry, Damien, but what can I say? It's just better. So given everything that's happened, I used one of my days to create this piece, and it's my kind of dedication to coronavirus. So we've got the lady wearing a mask, where I did use 2 different reference pictures to help draw this one out, and also the green background. Now I wanted to do green because for me green is like toxic, so those sort of colours, like I knew when I actually woke up with this idea and I just knew I had to do it. And for me, the main colour was that green background. Like I knew that's what I wanted. So it went really well. There is a point where at the end of it, I couldn't film it because my camera was actually dying, but I knew that this green background needed a bit more work. So the end of it, it looks a little bit better. And then I kind of just went along with different colours as I felt like it. So the purple hair, just to make it stand out and contrast against the green background, the usual skin tone that I normally do, and then when we get to it, the mask is black to again stand out that little bit more and to go with the black lettering that will happen on the COVID-19. Now, as usual, when I was doing my skin tone, I put down a base neutral colour, and then I will go in with, as you can see here, a mixture of the blues and purples that I was using for her hair. And I do that for the darkest shadows and then kind of blend it outwards with the more peachy tone that I was doing. By the time it all dries, as you can see, it fades a lot, but it still makes it work because, as I've said plenty of times before, when you're doing a portrait, you do want to make sure that you're getting the skin colour mixed with the colours that are around it as well. And obviously her hair is around her a lot, so we want some of those tones of the blues and purples, even if it's just very faint, to be in the skin because it makes the piece feel a lot more cohesive. So now I'm working on the mask, and it was kind of around this point that I realised I've done the face a little bit too wide on that right side. So I go in and fix that with adding a bit more boldness on the hair to cover that up. I still genuinely need to work on hair. It's something that I'm struggling with, and I'll probably take this time with the fact that we are in lockdown to practice on that. I'm really sorry if you can hear the dogs. As you may have guessed, it's got really loud lately with children screaming and dogs barking because everyone is stuck indoors. But yeah, so hair is definitely something I'm going to work on, and I'll see if I can find a few tutorials on YouTube just to help with that. In the meantime, I'm working with my fine liner, putting in all the lashes and the pupils. I generally save fine liners for the darkest darks that are going to be in this piece. I don't do too much of it, but it does just help give the piece a bit of added depth. This is my favourite part, where I'm adding in all the little like Posca pens, the fine liners and everything, because it just brings out all the life in a piece, and the highlights and everything. It just brings everything together. I really, really like this part. And this is the part where my camera started to die on me, so I could only really rush some of this, and some of the little parts that I added in you don't actually get to see. But the end result is something that I genuinely really like, and I think it's a fitting tribute to everything that's happening right now. Stay safe.
Okay, so that's the end of the video. I know technically I've still got 6 days left of March from the day that I'm filming this to actually go, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be quite boring. Like, I mean, in England at the moment, you're not really allowed to leave your house at all, so there's not going to be a lot left for me to talk about for March. I think all the main significant things have already happened. Obviously, if that changes, check out my Instagram. I update daily there, which I'm really being able to do now that I'm not at work. But yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed this video, and keep safe, and I will catch up with you in the next one. Don't forget to give it a like and subscribe if you enjoyed it.